Well, I suppose there is a 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance there was a place called Marble Arch on Ravalox.
And they wrote in English?
Well, that's another 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance.
So, anyway, hi everybody. Welcome to Release 104. This is the official Shroud of the Avatar release stream with myself, Ravalox, also known as Steven Reinen, and Allium. And I am the community manager as well as one of the developers of the game. I do a whole bunch of different things around here, and too many things, actually. So, Allie, would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Allium. I'm in charge of release notes and patch notes, and one of the people in charge of the bug forum.
And a great job you do.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's see here. Okay, so as everybody should know by now, I am really bad at watching the stream chat. Hopefully, Allium can keep me straight on this. And I got a bunch of stuff to talk about, so I'm gonna start right off on that. Hopefully, I won't rush through it. Okay, so Release 104. We are still in the middle of migrating to Unity 2021. We came probably within 2 days of actually getting ourselves live on 2021, but we really wanted to put this thing on QA first. So we did the build on 2018, and as soon as we have another patch that's going to go in. We have a special request to get something fixed and updated in the game. So I'm going to do a patch on Sunday night, which, by the way, that'll also end the sales for July. And then after that, starting Monday, we're immediately going right back into 2021. And we're hoping that by the end of the week, we'll be able to get a build on QA for 2021 for everybody to test and play with. And then, of course, you know, let us have it. Let us know everything that you guys see that's unusual. Obviously, normal bugs are normal bugs, but if you see something that's like working on the live server that's acting weird or strange or not working on QA, we'd want to know about that. Okay, so this was my first solo release. I actually did the deployment. I sat here and had pancakes all by myself, and made sure the build went out on time, and did pretty good, I think. The place didn't catch fire, and the game was still operating at 10:30. So yay! All right, so there wasn't a lot in this release. As far as new content or anything, we got bugs fixed, but not as many as we usually do because of our focus on Unity 2021. And as I said, those efforts are continuing. So the sales are winding down. At Sunday, pretty much at midnight, and this is a manual thing, so I'll be sitting here at midnight to flip that switch and turn off all the sales and other stuff that's going on there that we were doing all throughout July. In addition to that, the character name amnesty is coming to a close. What's that, you say? Oh, well, if you have a character name that you think might be in violation of TOS and you're just like basically playing the game hoping that we don't notice, until July 31st, at the end of the day, you can send an email to support@shroudoftheavatar.com and get a free name change.
Is that a new support email address?
Yes, it is, actually. We are in the middle of eliminating the Portalarium domain, and we have migrated the support email to Shroud of the Avatar now. So if your name contains pledge titles like Lord, Knight, things along those lines, those are violations of the TOS, and copywritten, trademarked names, things along those lines, should be
Also, famous people. Do not impersonate famous people.
Exactly right. Or devs. Okay, so and guys, changing a character in your name is not gonna fix it. So those will get pegged as well. All right, let's see. All right, yeah. So the mail system has actually been migrated. So the website, shroudoftheavatar.com is there for support. All our emails internally are now being using Shroud of the Avatar. The website we've done a sweep through the website. So we think we've gotten pretty much everything. There's still more to do. I know that Tesla is going to do a second sweep through the website to catch anything that we missed on the first pass. But if you guys are poking around and you see the word Portalarium anywhere on our website or in the game or in our documentation, let us know. You could send a note to support on that, and or file it as a bug in the forums under the website category, and we'll go ahead and take care of that right away. We're really trying to get that all cleaned up so we have that separation. Okay, let's see what else do I have on here. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we have that still need to be done once we get rid of Portalarium. The next big project on the website is the email verification. So when you create an account right now, it doesn't verify your email. And what we're going to be doing is implementing that, getting those new accounts verified, and this will allow us to modify the way that the forums work and eliminate the paywall where it says you have to give us $1 at some place somehow to get access to post things in the forums. The new user area and the bug forums are supposed to be free and open access, but there seems to be some kind of an issue with that. So trying to get the next focus from Tassilo is going to be to work on the email verification, so we can get that out of the way and fix that problem that's on the forums. Eye of Scales. It's a book. It looks like this. And that's probably backwards on the screen too. I could be able to fix that someplace, but let me see. This maybe? Yep, there we go. Yay, now we can see things. All right, Eye of Scales. This is the second Shroud of the Avatar book. It's come out. I've read it already. I'm that quick. So you could get that if you're interested in reading the Shroud of the Avatar book series. The first one is Sword of Midras, and the second one is Eye of Scales. It's available in hard copy, paper. We call that when it's a hard thing. And on Audible. Hardback. Yeah, there you go. It's available on hardback, Audible, and as an ebook as well on Amazon. So go ahead and check that out if you'd like. Let's look and see what else I'm skipping over. All right, Heritage is going away. We were hoping to get that in for release 104, but that didn't make the cut because, again, we came so close with 2021. We were hoping to get that in and then do Heritage as a follow-up or in conjunction. But sadly, we didn't get Heritage disabled in time. So Heritage is going to go away for release 105. So you might get a double whammy of having Unity 2021 build as well as Heritage going away in the same month. We were kind of hoping to do that one in the other, but I think we're going to end up having to do both of them at the same time. So, all right, so for release 105, course, 2021 is going to be our continuing main focus. And we're going to continue to fix bugs. Heritage will be disabled. Difficult has a few items on deck, but of course it's only once we get 2021 on QA and stable. So let's everybody cross our fingers that we get that done during the first week, like I'm estimating. Then that way you guys could, break it and let us know what's going on. And in the meantime, then we could go back to actually adding new things and fixing bugs and stuff in the game while we're watching the performance and everything on 2021. The longer it takes to get 2021 on QA, the less we'll be able to get done. Okay, so I will be working on player dungeon bugs. Yes, the spider rooms. Before anybody asks, I'm gonna figure out what's going on with the spider rooms. I still don't really know why the blueprints aren't dropping correctly. I think if that's still happening, and then I know that there's issues in the rooms themselves. So I'm gonna do a sweep of all that stuff and get back to where I was, going through all the rooms and cleaning up all the bugs. Of course, I do have plans to add in a whole bunch of new stuff, including all the basements that are in the game right now will become player dungeon rooms. Of course, I'll have to modify those basements slightly to make them viable.
It might be a good idea also to add another entrance on those, because basements would normally only have one entrance, so you can't really connect those to each other.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm going to have to modify them a little bit. So.
I thought you just meant in terms of making it fit the grid.
Oh, no. Yeah, they in theory they should already be on the grid, but that's probably not going to be the case. So, but yes, at least one entrance. I'll probably, depending on how many, like if it's one of the single floor, single room type basements, I'll just put another entrance onto it. If it's multiple floors, then I'll probably put a second entrance on, an additional entrance on each floor, that type of thing. So, I like to make them interesting. So some of the other rooms, like the arena basements, could probably expect to see some additional changes to the arena basements. Other than adding entrances. But let's see here. Okay, so and of course all this is technically the second thing I'm going to work on during the month. The first thing I'm going to do is finish up the Lottie basement, get that out of the way, and there's only a few things left that need to be done on it. I just haven't been able to get the time to work on it. So this month I'm dedicating to the player dungeons, the Lottie basement, and scene maps as well. So I'm going to be working on those three items throughout the whole month. Just like I've done over the last few months, I've been kind of like rotating through my job roles. I did a lot of operations stuff a couple months ago. This month was all the Lord British stuff, the sales, and of course doing the build, because Chris is off at Syndicon, I think, right? Long live the Syndicate. It's a contract, I have to say that. Chris said so. All right, so we know there's a great deal to be done. So obviously, small team, and be patient with us. We're making progress. We're getting things cleaned up and moving forward. The big thing is 2021. We get on that new version of Unity, and that's going to open a lot of doors for us. It won't immediately show a lot of, be a lot of different stuff for you guys to see right away, immediately. But it's going to give us a lot of options to go and tweak things, and new scenes will have a lot of new features and be different than that. So, but of course, we have to go and play with it and figure out what to do with a lot of these things. So, okay. Okay. So, contacting the team. This is a reminder. Please use the bug forms for things that are existing in the game that are not working the way they should. If it's something that's working one way and you guys would like to see it work differently or some additional features or something, then that would be either feedback or the wish list. The wish list is the best place to put things because we do actually watch that and bring those in as ideas. Oh, we have another visitor. Greetings.
Hey.
Hey. Would you like to? I'll pause and you could do your introduction.
Sure. My name is Keith Quinn, and I am Sannio on the forums, and I am a quest designer, level designer, world builder on Shroud the Avatar, shroudtheavatar.com.
There you go. All right, so let me go back into my little thing here. Then Ask a Dev, guys, is that's going to be basically your min-max question. So if you want to know specifically if buffs or debuffs are working correctly because you're not sure, basically Ask a Dev is a place you go to send us messages about things that you're not sure if it's a bug or not, and ask us questions along those ways, along those lines. We will do our best to answer those on streams, and we do discuss those things internally. There's constantly conversations going on about some of the stuff that's posted up there. Some of the questions are pretty straightforward, some of them are not, and we discuss them internally. I think that some players will notice that within one release, things that are brought up in Ask a Dev are actually implemented in the game as well as the wish list and other areas too.
I like when Ask a Dev has questions asking for like extra insights into design or programming choices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff you wouldn't really see the answer for anywhere else.
Yeah. Logout feedback is the last section for interaction or feedback from you guys. So primarily we're looking for new users to give us logout feedback. Obviously everybody can. It's optional. You don't have to even hit the stars if you don't want to do anything with the logout feedback. Just go ahead and hit the logout button and quit, and then you're good to go. It's not going to force you to do it. Basically, it's looking on the for feedback on your experience during that play session. So if there's something specific that you saw in the game that you liked, that you didn't like, game performance, whatever, that type of stuff. That's the type of feedback we would want on that logout feedback.
You could say I had a great pickup group if you grouped up with a bunch of random strangers, or you might have said, a certain scene was maybe too hard for me, but I'll keep trying. Maybe you like the puzzle in a certain scene. You can keep it vague if you want. That's fine. It's not. We're not looking for details. Just if like a friend of yours asks you for like one sentence, like what'd you do today in the game? Boom. That's all you need.
Okay, so one last note on contacting the team. Please do not use Discord or the forums to request support. Support things.
Aside from bug fixes.
Well, yeah. This is use the forums for the bugs, but don't PM the devs and ask for things like name changes or pot things. If you have questions about processes, that's fine. But if you're actually asking to get something done, please send that request through support. Lainey will go ahead and handle what needs to be handled that she does, and then route the rest of the stuff out to the rest of us who need to respond back and talk to you about whatever needs to be done. The reason why this is important is because we have so many things coming in all these different directions. There's a good chance that something's going to get dropped. So I want to make sure that everything is funneled in through that one way.
One way that's kind of nice, though, if you did want to use the forums to ask something, like say a question about a player-owned town, sometimes it's good to ask that question in the public-facing posts and threads. instead of private messages, because then everyone can learn the great answer that you're going to get. So like maybe you say like, can I move my pot to the overworld by Sultan? And then maybe even give coordinates. And then I could, if I see it, I might reply and say, I double checked the area. No one else has claimed it. It's a legitimate space. Sure, you can move that there. And I might even give a few things like, a few insights as to why it's a good spot, and the sort of tip that other people who own player-owned towns can use if they want to move their pot somewhere else.
And you might actually find that a lot of players will actually answer your questions this way too. So,
yeah.
Of course, that one's very specific. That would have to be you to answer that.
Yeah.
Exploits. If you find something that you think is an exploit, obviously let us know. And again, the email to support@shroudoftheavatar.com would be the best way to go. That gets flagged right away, and then we were made aware of this in our internal chat. Excuse me, and we will act on those things right away. This way, you won't want to post something that you think is an exploit into the main forums or on Discord or anything, because it'll just encourage other people to experiment and try it out for themselves. So that's my that's my list of stuff. So now we can just talk about things. So 2021 is going to be really good, and there's definitely some additions to things that'll help us in world building, like the holes in terrains and things like that.
It's funny the way you say that. 2021 is going to be good. You mean Unity 2021? Because the actual 2021 was sort of so.
Aren't we still in 2020?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought it was 2019.
Yeah.
Oh man, so I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of I've actually had a list of things that I wanted to experiment with and find ways around, ways to do it while we were still in 2018 on Unity 2018. But sadly, I wasn't able to make those things function correctly. So I'm looking forward to getting on to 2021 because I have a few specific things that I've wanted to do, and there's no way I could have done them until I get to that.
Makes me nervous when we have a big update.
Yeah, well, there is that. I mean, this is I expect that we're gonna get the thing stable. As far as right now, the game itself seems to be stable on 2021. But when we do the builds, it's exposing other underlying things, right? Which are probably, issues that we should have been taking care of all along, but they just weren't, like, jumping up and down, screaming at us. So now we have, Devil Cult has been banging down that list. I mean, he's just been taking care of thing after thing after thing. Lots of stuff has been corrected and fixed. Obviously he's the main person who's doing the 2021 local builds and iterations and making script changes and stuff like that to get our existing source code to conform to the updated standard that's Unity 2021 is using. And he's reported that there's definitely increases in FPS. So overall, there's some improvements to the functionality of the game. But this may or may not be apparent to everybody, at least not initially. And over time, if we implement some of the other things, which there's, and again, no promises on this. So Keith and I would have to actually sit down and talk about some of this too. Is dynamic item loading while you're in a scene. Of course, that could be mainly be a larger scene that would be useful in. But the scene times are reduced just by going to 2021. The scene load times are reduced a little bit, but we could get those scene load times down even further in theory by not loading all of the assets, all of the decorations and everything as you're waiting for the scene to come up on your screen. So we'd have to test that out. That's something that will probably take a few more iterations, release cycles, for us to figure out if that's going to be useful for us or not. We're not exactly your average Unity game. I think we're still one of the largest. If we're not still the largest, I think we're the second largest Unity implementation out there.
No.
So, anyway, with all that said, we're hoping that the RTX problem is also gone. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's NVIDIA's RTX series of GPUs. So they changed from the GTX to the RTX, and that's the 20 series and the 30 series, and soon the 40 series as well. Those cards have issues with Unity games in general, where there's a lot of VFX going on, and Devilcult has actually documented it. If you look at the terrain at a certain point, I guess when there's VFX going on or something, that it causes this same problem. Your FPS basically just goes to zero. It just becomes a slideshow. And this is something that's not controllable by us. So we're hoping that 2021 has resolved that issue. So far, the indications are that there is an improvement, but we don't improvement or solution. I want to be a little vague about this because I don't have an RTX card myself, so I can't test it. And Devilcult does have one of those cards, and he did say that there was an improvement, but I don't know if he was actually getting because not everybody gets this single FPS problem. So we have to get. I know that. At least one of the players has been pinging me every so often to see when it was going to go on QA because they have the problem, and we're going to see, use them as a test case and see if it solves the issue. So. Okay. Any questions yet?
There was one I saw in the Ask a Dev. Owsley asked, "Why is there an oracle in Grusk?" There's an oracle confirmatory in Grusk, for those who didn't know.
No.
And he asked, "Why do kobolds need it?" I don't think they don't need it. Humans are they come to town. Avatars come to town fairly often, so it's for them. But part of the backstory of the oracle is that the kobolds helped create the oracle in the first place. And depending upon who you talk to in the town, a couple of kobolds can actually give you a little bit of their version of it. And from their perspective, they created the oracle, and humans happened to be in the area when it was finished. So it's almost a little bit of just like it's a utility for humans. It's a little bit of a portfolio piece that they can show off maybe it's like a demo model. Anyway, that's why it's there. It's demonstration purposes. And then also, Gwendolyn Obscuro in the Twitch chat asks, any hints about whatever scene you're working on next, Sannio? So the next scene I'm working on, I think I might have said the name before, so I'll say it again. It's called Vikland, Vikland, and it's going to be it's an episode 2 scene. It's going to be a big chunk of it is beach, so it's kind of a shoreline scene, some forest and stuff. It's kind of a village of Norgarders. Their general purpose in life is kind of like raiders, kind of like Vikings. They go up and down the coast and they take what they want. But you'll be able to interact with them and get some quests from them and learn a little bit about their local stories. There'll be some unusual creatures. If it works out right, I have these special spiders I'm calling reef spiders that'll be there, and they're kind of colorful. There'll be quite a bit of panthers. Black panthers will be in the kind of a common wilderness animal. There'll be a certain large cave which was has some like obsidian runes aspects in it, but it's where a lot of tougher panthers will be living. There'll be a little bit of a wave battle there, and at the culmination of the wave battle, which will depend upon how you count it yourself when you approach it, there'll be like 4 waves, and then the top wave will include a top bad guy of a panther. Either it'll be a tough panther, an even tougher panther, a saber-tooth tiger, or an even tougher special saber-tooth tiger that Chris made that we haven't put in yet. I keep forgetting the name. Smilodon fatalis or something like that. Similodon?
That sounds right.
One of those things. So that big tough saber-tooth has a chance of spawning in that area if you do things right. And there'll be a few secrets here and there, a few special POIs, as we call them, points of interest. Unusual things along the beach or in the forest that is flanking the beach. So there you go. I've been working on the sort of puzzle stuff and the NPCs and some conversations the past couple of weeks. Today I started diving into doing the scene itself, the actual block out of the scene. I don't really know how much of you, if you don't know or not, a scene is like just like a big open area. That's each place you go in our game is a scene, and there's usually terrain. In this case, it's going to be ocean. There's going to be mountainish kind of stuff. I have to make sure I pick all the right textures that I want to use, picking the right mountains. I like to do a little something once in a while where if there's something really prominent, like in the far distance, that you can see in the overworld, sometimes I'll insert it in the scene itself. I know, like in the so this scene will be like in Mr. Ender. There's 3 islands, 3 big islands, and then the middle island on the bottom is kind of where you come in the first place, and there's Lord British's castle, and sort of like a little bit up is Grusk. But on the south side of the island, or southwest maybe, that's where you're going to find this Vikland place. And from there, you can kind of see, if you look towards the main entry point of the scene, you can sort of see like this big island in the sort of foresty Canterbury area, a big mountain, I mean. And if it makes sense, I might sort of like let you see that mountain in the distance. I might not because of certain things, but because I always think something like that is kind of cool. Like if there's like a mountain or something important in distance, because it helps with your orientation. Like there'll be a big beach here, so you really will know the beach is always on the west side, and you'll never get lost. But sometimes, like if you could see if there's like a certain mountain or massive tree or something in the distance, then that'll also help you orient yourself.
Like you can see Verdantis Shard fall from West End across the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always consider it my Mount Fuji, because if you look at a lot of old Japanese art, there's sort of like always Mount Fuji in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah. I think those are the big things, or the current questions I had. I don't know if I missed any questions since I showed up late.
There's another one in Ask a Dev.
Another one?
Yeah, I want to scroll back because there was a few that we actually answered recently.
Is it the one about guild? Will be the essential guild line for episode 2? Or quest line? Oh, I see. Will be essential quest line for episode 2. Yeah, so what I'm doing is kind of getting all my ducks in a row by putting in all these adventure scenes, or some of these adventure scenes that sort of have a big town section of it. And then also I give you conversations to have with the NPCs if there are any in that scene. Usually there's at least like one that might be giving you a quest, and you get a quest. And the conversations and the quests support the theme of the scene. Like if you go in Tanglemire, they're all paranoid in there, and so they're afraid of the nearby forest. They all kind of don't like the way you pronounce Tanglemire. They all have these things, and and their leaders and their hopes and dreams and all that stuff. So you get to learn about them. And Grusk, of course, is very supportive in general of how Grusk society is better than humans, and they bring up all that stuff. And there's even one of them who will tell you like stories. He's got a daily storytelling session that he'll share with you. And so as each scene comes in, you'll sort of learn about the scene, and then I have in mind how these scenes fit into the bigger picture. And eventually, when enough pieces are in, then I will start putting in the bigger picture quests. And I'm going to do something a little bit different than we've done in other scenes, in the episode 1. So my thought is that some of it won't be exactly linear. So you might have, so you might enter a new town. You can do some of these side quests. You'll probably be pulled onto the main quest, but the main quest won't let you progress until you've done a certain number of the side quests. You don't have to do all of them, and you'll be able to pick and choose because it's an open sandbox game, and I'm embracing that. And then when you hit a certain critical threshold of accomplishments in that area, then you'll sort of start unlocking that scene, that area's or that region's critical quest, the core quest. And then if you want to color code them, you're doing the local silver quest, and when you hit a certain key point, then that sort of like lets the gold quest advance, and the gold quest will be the sort of whole episode 2 quest. And eventually you sort of trace your way through. I want to put in things where your virtue will matter, either by the way the NPCs talk to you or the way certain things can occur. I want you to be able to be the good guy or bad guy, which is a little tricky because it kind of means, so when I do a quest, so a lot of side quests is kind of easy. The way to be a good guy or bad guy is usually just your responses. Like you sort of like, you're helpful or you're a smart mouth, or, kind of. And I want the NPCs to kind of remember that. Maybe the individual guy remembers it, and that's usually how we've done it. But I want the sort of NPCs as a whole to recognize what you've done for them. Like you're renowned in the area, or you a huge participant in the area. Have you really not done anything in the area, or have you done a lot? And I want the NPCs to sort of recognize as you're doing more and more. So that's some of the stuff that are going on, and a lot of that, especially the bigger picture renown, will sort of relate to your state of the main quest. So there you go. Hope that answers that question. Anything else? Did I miss anything else?
There was one I saw in there. I was trying not to interrupt you while I was typing something here. Could we allow notes to be posted on doors, which we cannot do because doors open and close, and Deco will not move with the door.
Right. Yeah. So if there's a static object like the wall of your house, that's fine. But if anytime there's something moving, basically anything that's interactable is going to be iffy. And if it's moving, that's definitely a no-no. So like a door, or anything that's essentially a door, whether it moves like on a hinge or slides up and down, or collapses left and right or whatever, you can't put anything on anything like that.
Yep.
It would basically just float there. If we even did have something like that, it would look broken.
Right.
It would never work. What's the phrase that pays?
I just typed it and I don't even remember.
I see it.
Make a
splash.
Make a splash. Yeah.
Nice. Dora asks, can we have some signs that aren't scaled huge? Don't we have smaller signs?
We should.
About specific ones. Like, don't we have like little mount signs? Or
yeah.
Maybe in game wise, maybe they were about this big.
Yeah, and then
it's like metal, wood,
and you can still shrink them though too as well. So
yeah, we can also change the default amount that they're allowed to scale. So we could take the existing signs and just allow you to scale them up and down more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially
maybe
down. So
maybe that's a little bit of the question. Maybe I know we reviewed a couple of things recently for their scale. Maybe that's something else we can look at. I know we don't want things to scale too big or too small because then they start looking bad. If you go too much in either direction, then the textures don't hold up because if you scale it too big, then the textures start looking sort of like blocky and pixelated, and that's awful. If you start making them too small, it's too much detail and they don't fit in with the rest of the area, and it just looks awful.
Yeah.
So we have to protect our brand by making sure that things don't get things aren't allowed to make the game look terrible.
Owsley's saying about dungeon entrances that aren't huge, and that is a thing. For some reason, a lot of the dungeon teleporters and dungeon entrances and things they're just monuments, just big, huge things.
And that was the original plan for them, though, to make them like big, eventful stuff. And then over time, we sort of softened up on that decision.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad idea.
Yep. And I some of the stuff I want to work on with the player dungeon rooms is make like a mine entrance and things like that, and they'll be smaller. Maybe like if you take your normal basement hatch and figure double wide of that, so I could basically set up something that looks like it's where somebody dug a hole and has some wood framework on it and that type of thing. So it's just basically like a one man crawl into the hole type of deal, as opposed to a big giant erector type of deal. I can make a few different versions of that too, so that way on the larger lots you'd want something maybe bigger. So we could do things along those lines.
Is it Rem SQ or Rem Esquire? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Anyway, he's asking. They're asking, are we ever going to get overworld encounters using dragons or other monsters? One time they did spawn mobs on the overworld, so we never had a visible dragon on the overworld. What we have instead is you might see like a deer or something, and the deer might lead you to like a non-dragon encounter, or there's a random chance that it could bring you into an encounter that if you fight some of the creatures, you might draw out a dragon. So that's something that can happen. So it's there. You just may not have been running into them.
It sounds like someone probably dev spawned one on the overworld at some point, but that's not actually built into the game. Yeah. It's not a regular encounter.
Yeah, that could have happened as well. Yeah, there's no fighting on the overworld, so they should not have spawned a dragon on the overworld.
Yeah, if we spawn anything on the overworld, it's docile. It won't attack.
Yeah, I have special so I spawn the overworld. I put in those random encounter guys. I was gonna say bad guys. I guess they're not bad guys in the sense that they don't literally attack you, but they will draw you into their encounter. And I have special versions of those guys that they'll just run at you and just suck you into their encounter. But it shouldn't have been a dragon. It was a no.
I am getting ready here to.
Belladonna Rose says, "Have a dragon on the overworld, and when you enter the encounter, it's all humans."
Or stags.
Bane switch. Yeah, there's a dead dragon there, and humans say, "Oh, you missed it." Where were you?
That's good. I like that. All right.
What else, guys?
All right, I'm running a prisoning right now.
Nice.
And I've been informed that the Elite has been issued, so I'll be doing a performance piece before we go. Unless one of you guys want to do a song.
Elwin Moon says, way back in the past, there was sometimes an encounter that was literally just a dragon. Now they're all behind waves. Yeah. So, so for those of you who don't know the progression of encounters, what they originally were, they were random encounters, which was every so often, as you walked around the overworld, you saw some NPC, which could have been a person, could have been a wolf, sort of similar to what it is now, but they were like all over the place. and but they basically owned. So the overworlds are broken up into like a bunch of invisible hexagons. There's a big hexagon grid over the overworld, and when you go to like a town, that town basically owns that hex. Or if you go to an adventure scene, that adventure scene owns that hex. And when you go, used to be that a hex could be owned by an NPC, and you would go to that hex and you would get drawn into the random counter. You didn't really have a choice. You couldn't like avoid it. It was something. It was mandatory. People kind of complained about that factor. And then we sort of had two levels of random encounters. We sort of had the weaker one, which was like tier 2, and then the tougher one, which was always just a plains encounter, off-road. That was a tier 5. Some of tier 5s had some tougher guys, like a dragon. And players kind of complained that, oh, it was too tough for me. Oh, it was too easy for me. Like, well, all right, we sort of have these things that players are complaining about. How can we fix them? And so the fix for the first thing was to make them roving encounters instead of random encounters. So roving encounters meant that the NPCs could walk around from hex to hex to hex on a path, or just sort of meander around. And if they saw you, they could run toward you, but you had a chance of running away. You had a chance of like avoiding that encounter. So now you had some sort of control of the situation. That made that part better. And then the other part was switch random encounters to be the kind of 2-tiered wave battle. So it's roughly a tier 2-ish scene on its own. All random encounters are roughly tier 2-ish when you first go in, and in the episode 1 areas. And then so if you want to stick around and fight guys, you could, and by killing enough of certain enemies in the area, you would trigger the second wave, which would be the tough guy. And the tough guy probably, it's hard to tell because sometimes there are multiple, but say like roughly like a tier 8-ish situation, or higher, could be tier 10-ish, 15-ish, depending upon what actually came out and started to try to fight you. So that was a way to sort of compensate for players who thought it was too tough, or other players who thought it was too easy. I sort of had both options available. If you wanted it easier, you fight the guys. If you saw a tough guy, you could run out. You could still feel like you kind of did the scene. And then if you wanted it tough, you could just sort of like plow into everyone, just one hit everyone, and then just draw out the big bad. So that's how that worked. And that's how we're sticking with it in the future. Encounters, you can try to avoid them, run away if you want, and then a multi-stage thing. Although in some places, like in episode 2, that default level, when you first enter, the default level of the bad guys, default tier, is probably going to be higher than tier 2. Because all the episode 2 area, all of Mistrender is considered like tier 8 and up in general. So it's assumed that you probably went through most, if not all, of the episode 1 storyline and have earned quite a bit of gear and experience under your belt to take these things.
So we're going to need some much tougher herding dogs.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
One thing I think I'm going to note here is that on the overworld, if you stay on the road, you get the fastest speed. Then if you go off the road, you don't. It starts to slow you down. But I think there's a bug right now that once you get slowed down, you don't speed back up when you get back on the road unless you stop, let go, and then start again.
Yeah, you whatever speed you start moving at, whether it's fast on the road or slow off, is what you stay out as long as you're moving. So start running on the road, and then you can run anywhere fast.
Right.
No, Elwyn, it's still broken.
Yeah, we have to figure out why that happened, actually.
But in the meantime, feel free to tweak it to your advantage.
Yeah, it's minor exploit, but go for it. That's
victimless crime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything for free out of it, really. You still avoid or get into those encounters as your choice.
Yep. Yeah, they're easy to get around if you need to. Okay, I got the prize innings run.
Nice.
And we are actually in good shape this time. So, okay. Who wants to read what? Well, actually, I should say, do we know? I think we had a specific question on one of the prizes here. As to where is my thingy?
I did not see an answer.
All right, so we just have to pick one of these. I think that the top one would work for me.
No, we don't have to say. We can just say it'll be Laney's choice.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's A. You know, put the A in front of the. So there you go. All right. Okay. So yeah. Does anybody who wants to do characters and who wants to do prizes? I'll do one or the other.
I don't know what you guys were just talking about, so maybe you should both do it.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise, I'll
Okay.
read off something wrong. It sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. Which one do
right.
you want?
Edward's natural Chesterfield sofa and chair goes to
Sirius Bodhi.
and
And Diablotine.
Fountain Palm Tree 6-pack goes to
Kai Council and Arya Bloodmoon.
Brown Tricorn hat goes to
Megatron and Lancel Lancermane.
a Cavestone Room of Laney's choice goes to
Hellier Deroke and Rai Zero.
and a Guardian Lion statue goes to
Dorn Slate and Gwendolyn Obscuro. Congratulations to all the winners.
Yay! It's a typo on one of those.
Yeah, well, I manually typed them, so.
I read
Oh,
it right.
All right, that's fine. As long as it's not in the actual item name.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, that's fine then.
I had to transcode them from an image.
That's cool. I am cursed with spotting typos. Like I can't watch like a movie credits or read a cereal box without finding typos.
Gotcha. All right, guys. All right. So as promised, I will do a little performance thing here for you, and I guess if one of you guys could, Allie, if you wouldn't mind looking for somebody to raid.
Okay, let me see what I can find.
That would be awesome. All right, and then so I'll do this. Embarrass myself as usual.
Nice.
Here we go. All right. Cold-hearted orb that rules the night, removes the colors from our sight. Red is gray and yellow white, but we decide which is right and which is an illusion. Pinprick holes in a colorless sky, let insipid figures of light pass by. The mighty light of 10,000 suns challenges infinity and soon is gone. Nighttime to some a brief interlude, to others the fear of solitude. Brave Helios, wake up your steeds, bring the warmth the countryside needs. Breathe deep the gathering gloom, watch lights fade from every room. Bedsitter people look back and lament, another day's useless energy spent. Impassioned lovers wrestle as one, lonely man cries for love and has none. A new mother picks up and suckles her son, senior citizens wish they were young. Cold-hearted orb that rules the night, removes the color from our sight. Red is gray and yellow white, but we decide which is right and which is an illusion. That's thank you. That's Graham Edge who wrote that poem on Days of Future Past, The Moody Blues. That's the opening poem and the ending for the album.
So it looks like there is a new player streaming Shroud. It's his first time. He's still in Salisbury outskirts. He's got 5 viewers. He does not have it set up so you have to be a follower or a subscriber to talk to anyone. So he seems like a good target. His name is Thundagar.
Awesome. All right.
Nice.
I posted the link into the channel.
Cool. All right. Let's see if I can get this thing working properly then. Just there it is. Okay. I'm not. I'm doing this a different way than usual, so I'm not sure if this is going to raid immediately or do the countdowns thing. So we should probably all say our goodbyes now.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a
Goodbye.
lot. We'll see you again soon.
Stick around with this new guy for a little bit. Give him some love.
Yep. Okay. There we go. He's doing the countdown. Okay, so, all right, here we go. We're going to raid now, guys, so have fun. Talk to you later.